Welcome back to Starkiller Base. Today we've got a special video with Austin and I doing some card analysis for some exclusive spoilers we got from the Legacies set. We got 3 today, and Austin and I are sitting down. Hi Austin, how you doing?
Good. Hey, how you guys doing?
So we've got some exciting cards here. Looks like they're going to be a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to Legacies a lot. So the first one here we have is called the Kanto Bite pistol. It is a 3-cost neutral gray weapon. It has redeploy. Sounds familiar. The die sides show a 3 range for 1, a 2 indirect damage, a 1 shield, a 1 resource, a special, and a blank. And the special says deal 2 damage to a character, or 3 damage instead if it is a villain. That's an interesting little special there. I like it. So I gather Kanto Bite is the casino planet that's in the upcoming movie or something like that. So I guess they've got pistols at their casino, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah, very. This is very reminiscent as far as artwork goes to the pistols that they used in episode 1 inside the palace at the end scene. Very very reminiscent of that. But I like this. I think if this didn't have redeploy, I would say that this is near unplayable personally, just because of its high cost.
Sure.
But yeah, it's just better holdout blaster. I don't mean better as far as value. I just mean better as far as sides go, because you're looking at, you know, the usual 50-50 on damage sides, but you know, it seems like a solid weapon. And again, redeploy, I would rather have redeploy than ambush every single time, every single day, without question. It's outstanding. So yeah, I mean, I think this is good, and I think it'll probably end up seeing play. We'll just kind of have to see how the Legacies meta, you know, kind of stabilizes itself, because yeah, just the design of everything seems really balanced. I think there's a really low amount of power creep, honestly, if any, but that's just my opinion. So I think this is a really good addition to their design lineup. I think they really know what they're doing with these cards.
Well, yeah, I mean, it doesn't have any modified sides. It's got 3 damage sides, and the 2 sides that are not damaged, that are not blank, are relevant because they are shields and money, which is nice. And I think the special is really interesting because it's, you know, it's directly advantageous to running it in a hero deck, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Or rather, I
seems
take that back.
way.
It doesn't matter what deck you run it in. It is stronger against villain decks, I should say. It's not
Right.
advantageous to run it in a hero deck. It's advantageous to run a hero deck so you don't get hit for 3 with it.
It's true. Yeah, villains are real popular right now, so I mean, depending on what we see come out of Legacies,
Sure.
who knows? This could be a more varied interaction with the special.
Yeah, I mean, the redeploy is definitely great. It is a bit pricey, and I'm not sure what I think about indirect damage yet, but I guess we'll see when we see more cards from the set.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to the second one here. It's called the Vibro Cutlass. This is a very expensive weapon. It is a 4-cost neutral yellow weapon. It has redeploy. Surprise, surprise. The die sides show a 2 melee, a 3 melee for 1, a 4 melee for 1, a 2 disrupt, a 2 shield, and a blank. And the inherent ability says decrease the resource cost on this die by 1 while this upgrade is on a yellow character. So if this is attached to a yellow character, then you basically do not have to pay for the 3 melee or the 4 melee sides, which is pretty amazing.
It's pretty good.
Redeploy is never a bad thing, except, I mean, if you look at the bowcaster, how often do we see that thing running around? It's got redeploy too, but
Once every never.
yeah, I mean, I think it took a brief stint as replacing the one with the force in the Han Rey deck at one point in time, and after that, didn't see much. I mean, the die sides are amazing on it. Like those values are almost as good as blackmail's, and blackmail has a negative ability on it, whereas this one does not. So, you know, if Unkar didn't cost so darn much, and these weren't melee sides, I'd say this would be a great attachment for Unkar. But yeah, I mean, we haven't seen many yellow characters in Legacies that have melee sides, but I mean, if you put this on something like if you could build a deck that had 2 Gamorrean guards and a red character, and you put in Vibro Cutlasses and Electro Staves and that sort of thing, that'd be pretty gross.
Definitely.
Having 10 or 11 hit points on each character, having redeploy, and having 3 for 1s and 4 for 1s that don't cost any money. If you can get the $4 to put it out, that's pretty great. If you could play it with pilfered goods, that'd be the best thing ever.
Right? Yeah,
Get
yeah.
a couple of Vibro Cutlasses and a flamethrower out, and pilfered goods in a triple piggy deck or something like that. But I don't know. Well, maybe the Wookiee Warriors will use him. I'm not really sure, to be honest. What do you think of this one, Austin?
Well, I think it's. I pretty much agree with that assessment as far as the initial cost is real steep. I think the fact that it's neutral is what makes this even remotely playable as far as with villains. Again, you get pilfer goods like you were saying, and again there's all kinds of different mechanics. You could do ace in the hole with this if you really had to.
True.
You can use it. I know we never see it, but just all kinds of options. Like I don't want to just stick in the meta. This falls under an arms deal kind of operation that you can
Mm-hmm.
do. If you really wanted to, you could run this with Sabine, because then you can just pull it from grave, overwrite
Sure.
something, and have that cost less. You also have Long Con in that deck, so I have Sabine Ezra now, which is going to be replaced by Elite Sidious Death Trooper. But if I wasn't going to take that apart, I would definitely consider putting this in because these are just really high values, and I also run Planned Explosion.
Mm-hmm.
So that's it's really, and that's all because it's neutral. Is that you get the really good economy from Long Con, Sabine, and maybe like Thermal Detonator. Now you only have to replace for one. Like you really do have options for both sides. So I think that's kind of neat, but while that's an optimistic review, I think it's going to be in very few decks, again, just because of the steep initial cost. And that's what Sabine's ability does, is mitigate that
Sure.
initial cost, but without the base blaster sides, it's just going to be hard to resolve. Possibly, depending on how fast you want to go. So it's one of those cards where we're just going to kind of have to wait and see if it sees play. Like, I mean, the Z6 is amazing, and this is like kind of a yellow
Yeah.
Z6, but just maybe one more expensive and one less blank. So I don't know. It could be really good, especially because of redeploy. You just always keep the value.
Yeah. I mean, when I saw this, I was trying to figure out who to put in, and I was thinking, I don't see people running anymore. But if you had Vader Raider and you could afford to get this out on the Raider, rolling this thing in and then discarding a card to resolve the 4 melee without your opponent being able to do diddly about it, it's pretty amazing.
And for
Yeah,
free.
and I mean, you could always put this in a deck with range damage and then just run Secret Facility as well. Like your
Yeah.
Sabine example, you put it out on Sabine with her ability with Infamous to make it have ambush. You roll her in, get her 3 range and the 4 melee for 1, just claim the battlefield, do 7, kill a guy. It could
Yep.
work.
Yeah, I think actually what I like PS with Infamous for ambush is doing Never Tell Me the Odds.
Yep,
So yeah, I mean it's just perfect if you do like Night Sniper or DL or something
sure.
from grave, ambush, Never Tell Me the Odds, boom, you just kill the character. So yeah, I agree. Like some kind of thing to give this ambush would just be awesome.
All right, let's move on to the last card we have here. It's a zero-cost event called Quick Draw. It is, again, neutral. It's yellow. It says, play a weapon from your hand on one of your characters, paying its cost, and you may activate that character. So it's kind of an interesting one. It's sort of like an action cheating. So, if I have... Let's say that I'm running a villain deck, and I want to get my dice in early to play He Doesn't Like You, but I want to play an upgrade. This allows me, for the cost of one card and no resources extra, to play out, a hold up blast or something on somebody and then roll in. And what's interesting is, of course, that if you use Quick Draw to play an ambush weapon, then you basically get Sabine's ability without the discard pile shenanigans, because
This is like Cad Bane.
yeah, because you're
Also.
playing Quick Draw to play out the weapon. The weapon comes in with ambush, which gives you another action afterwards. So you've now played a weapon, rolled in a character, and you have an action remaining still, which is pretty cool. And it's on. I mean, there's no restrictions on what color this is, so you could do it with just about anybody.
True.
There's no hero villain restrictions, so it's fair game for anybody. What do you think of this one?
Definitely, I like it a lot. I think there's a lot of interesting stuff about this. Like this won't work with Maz's goggles because it's equipment,
Sure.
not a weapon. So not that makes it some kind of downside. It's just that's what it is. That would be like this is something that you could add to maybe if anyone's running it IG88. It's cool that it's neutral. like you said, you can use it for any character color. And I think, I don't know if this would be correct, but it's like, and I'm not just trying to lazily link these two, but Vibro Cutlass that we just looked over doesn't have ambush. You basically pay 0 and 1 card to give Cutlass ambush.
Yeah, essentially.
So if you can catch up to your opponent with rolling out and getting like ambush from Night Snipe or hold out, something like that, then this is a really, really big advantage. It turns any one of your characters into Sabine or Cad Bane.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, I mean, if you've got the extra space, that's one of the problems I have with it. Is it's not that high impact, at least from my initial perspective. Mm-hmm. Also, if you don't happen to have a weapon in your hand at the time, it's discard this card to reroll some dice.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, but I guess if it was highly impactful, it wouldn't cost 0. So there you go.
It's true. I think and this is kind of why I prefer swiftness, because overall it's just it's has a tendency to be more useful, sure, in my opinion. But I think this is good because it's very similar to hit and run, obviously. Mm-hmm. But why I like swiftness better, but I run a ton of blue, is swiftness, use the force, blank one of my opponent's dice, then I roll in. Now they have to choose, hey, do I try and mitigate the damage that's coming at me, or do I try and get that damage back? Either way, that just steals the entire momentum of the game in my favor. But now, with Quick Draw, at best you've caught up. Well, that's not true. At best, you've rolled out a god roll and shot them in the face and killed their character.
Yeah,
that's
best. Only if you have the ambush, though.
Have ambush, yeah. So that's absolute best case scenario. I see this being kind of a middle of the road operation as far as equip a weapon, roll in, probably doesn't have ambush, maybe overwrite something. So you're looking at just about the same amount of dice to, if you don't have money and you have to save for electroshock or whatever. So I see it kind of being a middle of the road thing, like you were saying, a little bit more low impact, but only time will tell. I see it being medium effectiveness. It's going to require some interesting deck building to bring out the full potential of the card.
Yeah, well, I think I mean, with the, what do they call it now, the Rainbow Fives, the 5-die villain deck, it's got a lot of it's got a lot of ambush weapons in it. The rolls from one character aren't necessarily the most impactful, but like say you had rolled in the Night Sister and Sienna Rhee, and then you play Quick Draw to put an ambush weapon on Balatik, and you roll him in with his 4 dice or whatever, and you've already got 2 on the Night Sister and 2 or 3 more on Sienna Rhee, then you can all of a sudden slap 9 damage into your opponent's face and kill them. But totally. Again, everything's going to change when Legacies comes out, so analyzing this in the current meta is kind of fruitless. I kind of want to put a Vibro Cutlass on Maz, though.
I know, right? Because instant resolution. It's
yes,
like
sir.
The hero Vader Raider.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, shoot, this could be good in Maz and some other, like you said, Wookiees or something like that. I don't actually want to give away my real plan for it. All right, I will. Like Maz, Obi-Wan.
Yeah, that'd be all right.
I mean, yeah, it could be all right, and especially if a lightsaber redeploys.
Mm-hmm.
Boom. Something like that. So yeah, could be good. But I like these so far. I hope to see that. If we see more villain, I hope to see the special on this previous pistol come in. But I think these are all really interesting spoilers.
I agree. Well, thanks for joining us, everybody. I hope you enjoyed the spoilers. Thanks for joining us, Austin.
Oh, my pleasure. Happy to be here.
And we'll see you guys next time on Starkiller Base.